Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. Here we are, the last part of August, first few days of September. I hope you had a really good summer, and now life will begin to meander into a different season. And I thought what I'd like to share this week is about the kingdom of God. Now, a lot of people think of different thoughts when we say the kingdom of God. But the kingdom of God is simply the place where God manifests his being, where he controls. As in the old medieval days, a king controlled a territory, a geographical space. And everything and everyone in that space was subject to his rule. Well, that's what we're talking about here, about God and his kingdom. So to start out this morning, I want to talk about where is the kingdom. And to do that, I want to go to I Chronicles, the last chapter, chapter 29, and verses 10 through 13. This comes at the end of a conversation that David has with his son Solomon, who's going to build the temple. And at the end of his conversation with his son, David says this, verse 10, I Chronicles 29. Then David praised the Lord in the presence of the whole assembly. Here's what he said. O Lord, the God of our ancestor Israel, may you be praised forever and ever. Yours, O Lord, is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty. Everything in the heavens and on earth is yours. O Lord, and this is your kingdom. We adore you as the one who is over all things. Wealth and honor come from you and you alone. For you rule over everything. Power and might are in your hands. David is acknowledging the reality of God. Now, it do us some good to do the same thing. And I know many of you listening do that. Maybe you don't do it to its fullest extent. But many of you who are listening today or will listen later on understand that God is the owner of everything, at least in a theoretical way. But David is saying he's the owner, the ruler, the controller in a very literal way. He says, everything in heaven and on earth is yours. Now, you and I haven't been to heaven. We don't know what it looks like. It's easy to talk about it because it doesn't matter if we're right or wrong. We've never been there. But now when we go to talk about this world, we've been there. And when I look out my window in front of where I'm recording this, I see a lot of wonderful things. I see a lot of beauty. But there's a lot out there that isn't so beautiful. And it makes you wonder, who's really in charge here? Well, David says that God is in charge. And I want to affirm that statement. But I want to add to it by saying, even if we don't understand it, if we don't recognize it, if we don't agree with it, God is still in charge. He's in control. He's in control of every moment in my life. Now, yes, he gives me the power to choose on my own. And he allows me to choose, not him. And he does the same thing for you. He does the same thing for everybody. He gives us a free choice. But he is still running the show, as they say. We don't have anything comparable in our understanding of this world to God. But yet, it is he who is in charge, and it is his kingdom in which we live. He goes on to say that everything in the heavens and on earth is yours. He said, we adore you, you who over all. Wealth and honor come for you. And for you, you rule over everything. Power and might are in your hands. Now, right now, we live in a time that's, well, it looks pretty unsettled, let's say. The geopolitical forces around us are not in harmony with peace and justice. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of war. And it's a little hard to understand why God allows that. And I'm not going to try to explain that one. You got to have a bigger mind to comprehend the ways of God than mine. But what I do know is that he is in charge. Everything that I do, everything that I have is his. And the same is true for you, whether you have a little or a lot, whether you walk with him all the time or walk with him a little or don't walk with him at all. He's still the owner, because the kingdom of God is in heaven and it's here. Now, the rest of this week, I'm going to talk about the kingdom of God. I hope you'll be back to listen. I hope you'll also look at your own life and think about, when you look out, what do you see? Do you see God's hands? Or do you see something else? And I hope and I pray that your eyes would be touched and your heart would be touched, that you will see God's hands every time. We can. They're right there. We just have to notice. Well, thanks for listening. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. So until tomorrow, God bless you. I'll talk to you again.